Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. I've recently been looking at other games, just other MMOs in particular. I keep coming up with the reality of every time I look more into Star Citizen, what I loved about old school MMOs and kind of what I thought Star Citizen would be may not necessarily be what I'm looking for. So I started looking into other games, and through that, I started to question, why am I still here? Right? You commenters out there, you wonderful people, I love you so much. Ask me that question all the time. If you hate the game so much, why are you still here? I don't hate the game. I want the game to be great, and I love the idea of the game. I love the potential that the game has. Right? That's one of the things that still keep me here. But it's also very obvious that creating content is what keeps me here. I do find it very fun. I love doing these podcasts and talking to people about the game. I love talking to other content creators about the game and their life. I love making streams and the memes and making fun of the situations that we're in the game. And the game still has a massive amount of potential, right? I have a wonderful community that I am a big fan of, aside from a few people pretty much that I find really annoying. But other than that, I think I have a great situation. I know why I'm still here, but I am starting to stray in directions of those kind of old school MMOs that I grew up to love. But the question for me is, many of you are not content creators. Many of you don't have this community that you built up and are really proud of that kind of keep you here. So what keeps you here? And I'm not here to hear what you don't like about Star Citizen. I'm here to hear what you like about its communities, its content creation, its game. What keeps you here? Because I'm struggling with what keeps me here. The only reason that I still play the game right now in this moment, 3.17.2, is because I made the game for myself. We've talked about this a few times. We knew that there were rare guns in the game that are only found in loot. A bunch of us got together. We started looting those things and selling them to players. Now we have a bustling gun running business that I can't manage myself, and I'm having a meeting tomorrow evening and Tuesday morning with NA and EU people to help run it with me because it's becoming too difficult to do as just one person. So that's what's keeping me here currently for sure, and keeping my eye from straying away from the game too much. But nobody else is really doing that. So I'm very curious what's keeping people here. And with that said, let's jump into our first caller. And he's a commonplace here. It's Michael Krakenhoff. Michael, what's up, man?
Hey man, how are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Um, let's get into it. I guess I'll start with sort of my backstory with SC and where it all began.
Yep.
Um, so I didn't properly get into SC till probably late 2018, early 2019. That's when I properly backed the project.
Okay.
I remember seeing the Kickstarter back in the day, and pretty much all my friends thought it was a scam.
Yep.
Because the stretch goals were wild and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. Um, I think it was 2.0 is when I first jumped into the game to try it out as a free fly, and then I tried out 3.0 as a free fly in 2016 or 2015 that came out,
Yep.
and then 2019 I backed, saw the sitcom demo, and that's sort of where I really went off the deep end with Star Citizen.
Sure.
I think I have like 9 grand into the game now.
A true
Uh,
whale.
a true whale.
No.
I've since pulled almost all of that out of the game and
Wait,
at
wait,
a
wait,
loss
wait,
sold.
wait, wait, wait. It's only 1,000 more, and you get the golden F8 Lightning, though.
You don't get the gold one till 15,000. You just get the
Oh,
pleb one at
well,
10.
at least you get a playable one. I mean,
Yeah,
guys, come on.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
1,000, Mike. It's just
It's just
$1,000 on a video game
it's
that's not out
just
yet. That's it.
one more Idris to complete the package.
Yeah, that's all. No biggie.
Yeah. So I think the thing that keeps me I think around the 2 to 3 year mark is when people start getting burnt out with SE. I'm definitely in that position.
Sure.
I am struggling to find reasons to play. A lot of my friends don't touch it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big things that I loved about this game was doing that whole multi-crew thing and playing with your friends, and sort of getting excited for the scope of the game as well.
Yep.
That lore video we watched earlier with Astropub, the discussion around the Nine Tails and what could happen with Grimhex, and I really love the lore of games, and that's something that got me hyped and excited. I'm sitting there going, "Oh yeah, I really want to see what's going to happen with this. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see what happens with the Nine Tails." You know, um, that's something that would definitely get me to come back to the game.
Well, to be clear, you're not actively playing the game.
No, I
Okay.
jump on the game to play with some streamers sometimes if they need people to come in and play with them. But I used to play Star Citizen daily. Pretty much, I don't know how many hours I got in the game because you can't track it, but at one point I was putting in 4 to 6 hours of Star Citizen every day.
Okay.
And at this point, which I'm thinking about hitting 3 years in, there's no content left for me to play. I've literally done everything, and there's nothing for me to progress into because, as you know, I spent that $9,000. Everything I want, I've got, which is probably one of my biggest regrets with this game, is that I didn't leave myself anything to work towards. And uh, yeah, I think I'm inspired to. It's mainly just friends. That's the only thing that keeps me coming into this game. If I don't have someone to play with, I won't touch Star Citizen. That's literally all it comes down to now for me. I need someone to hype the game for me.
Yet you are one of my most. You may be the caller, aside from Virgil, who's next, that has been here the most.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm still. I want Star Citizen to succeed, and I want this game to be the dream it is. I'm just really salty about Squadron 42. I'm really upset with the progress of the game. And what it feels to me like lack of progress has been, standing on the spot, waiting for this.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with keeps you what is keeping you following? Why are you still here? Why do you still talk about the game? There has to be a flame still lit. Like you are implying that there is none, but there clearly is, because we've had conversations that aren't doom and gloom like this. Usually you're one of the more positive callers, one of the people that are more interested in discussing game mechanics with me than anybody. So there's a flame there, but you're trying to blow it out currently, it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I've just lost my way a bit with the game.
Sure.
I definitely love Star Citizen and the project. I love the spaceships. I love the potential of the game. I really like a lot of the lore of the game.
Okay.
And there's things like base building that I'm interested in trying out down the track. That kind of stuff keeps me coming back and checking on the project and going, how are we starting to move forward a bit? Like I want to come back and play this game. I think it's always at the back of my mind. It's like I want to go in and play Star Citizen and have fun again. But I don't want to be doom and gloom, but I get in and I spend maybe 20 to 30 minutes in it and go, I can't be bothered, and I'll go play something else.
Yeah,
unless I'm playing with a friend.
Let me jump in on that a little bit, because I think I came to that same realization, but I made the choice to kind of like, instead of not be bothered for a little while and try to come up with an idea to to motivate myself. I went and looked at Star Citizen and went, okay, they're building this sandbox situation right now with very little theme parky elements to it. Like, there's no real raids. I guess Siege of Orison was kind of like the first raid, or Xenothreat, things like that. But when you don't have those events, what do you do? And I looked at the game and went, all right, at the current point, it's all sandbox, but there's very little sand. What kind of sand can I pick up and play with and do things? And I came up with the idea that I came up with, but it took a lot of like thinking and how it was going to work, and are people going to participate in this thing, and I ended up finding fun for myself. But I can totally understand why people are not willing to put in that kind of effort, right? For me, I get more out of it than just a little bit of an enjoyment playing the game. I get content on Twitch, I get content on YouTube, I get content. So it's something, it is really fun for me, and I've played the game off stream more than I've played it on stream, believe it or not, for the first time ever.
Yep.
And I've enjoyed it that way. Now, my question for you is, what sort of content are you consuming now from Star Citizen? Obviously, you watch my streams and, for me, but what other, besides me, what else are you enjoying? And it just kind of trying to find what's keeping you around the community, aside from, I spent $9,000, so I might as well stick around, right? Because that's obviously not a good reason to stick around.
No, and that's definitely not my reason, and that's definitely if this game becomes something that I don't want it to be, regardless of how much I've spent on it, I'm not gonna stick around.
Yeah.
It'll just be, well, it didn't work out, didn't become what I wanted to be, so I'll just move on and find something else. I play with Croncy and stuff, and I really enjoy. He does some content that I'm not a fan of. Like, I don't like racing. But I'm kind of interested to see how it goes, because I want to, like, the Ranger motorcycles, I'm really interested in how they're going to work.
I think Croncy's just about making events for people. Like, did you take part in the tank thing?
No, I didn't have time for that. I was unfortunately had to work that day.
But would you have?
Yeah, that kind of stuff I would.
Okay. So there's still a flame.
Yeah, I think community-driven stuff is the kind of stuff I need people to interact with. And so stuff like Xenothreat, I will hop on the game and play. So if Xenothreat's running, I'll play, and I'll play Xenothreat back to back to back every time. That's probably the one thing that will definitely pull me into the game that they've currently got. I kind of want to get back in and try rock mining again, because it's apparently fixed now after being broken for so long. Because that was something I used to enjoy, so I want to see if I still enjoy doing that. But I guess the most thing that this is probably what caused me to have burnout with SC, was that I would just log on, do FPS bunker missions, grind money, log off.
Purposeless stuff. Yeah.
So I just kind of need, because I'm so directionless with SC, I kind of need someone to be the direction point, or the I
understand. I think that's what everybody needs. And I think what I notice more and more is that people do play the game solo, and if they're playing it solo, it's because it's a cool looking game and Netflix is on the other screen. But if you don't want to play the game solo, you do have to find somebody who's driving that direction. A Croncy, a Captain Burks. A little bit lately, myself, I've never been that person until recently, and I hope I can keep driving this direction with this thing that we're doing with my org. But yeah, I mean, I could totally see that, and I'm glad we came around to that, because you were like, this was the saddest Michael I've ever had on the show in a while, and this episode was supposed to be the opposite of that. Right? This is supposed to highlight the things that you are excited about and what does keep you around, not the things that are pushing you away.
Well, there is stuff they're working on. It's just, like, I'm really excited for Salvage. I just don't know if we're going to get it in 318, or if 318 is going to be delayed, because
I don't think you're getting Salvage. You're getting hull stripping. Which
I'm getting mining tier
mining ships
-5. So, like salvage was one of the big ones for me. That's something that I've always been interested in.
Hmm.
There's a lot of elements about salvage, like, going into the wreck. This is all copium, hopium stuff. Like, where they said you go into the wrecks, you don't know what's on there.
Yeah.
You might have the whole aliens vibe, on old derelicts and stuff. That kind of stuff I'm interested in. It's like half, thriller, exploration, don't know what you're going to get kind of thing I want to try out. But I'm waiting on a game. That's kind of where I'm at now. So,
yeah, which is
like,
understandable. And when there's a little bit more economic driven or player to player driven stuff, I'm sure you'll find something fun.
Yeah, and my mates are really big into trading and stuff, and that's a lot of the reason why none of my friends play anymore.
Yeah,
it's because we're waiting on
a driving force behind it.
Yep, and then
I think you'll get it someday, but it's just hard to say
yeah.
when.
So I don't know. So I guess if you go back to the first videos of me on Answer the Call to now, it's going to be a pretty
depressing.
But I think that kind of shows you sort of the life cycle of a Star Citizen backer, kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
As us people, that the 3 years of being in the game and getting jaded, the new hopefuls come in to replace us, and they've got their 3 years, and then we'll see how we go. And hopefully, they're going to have a much better experience than I got.
True. Well, all right, Mike. I guess this is a decent spot to stop and bring in our next caller, but I'm glad that we did get to what excites you, and yeah, just reach for that, and maybe you'll find some fun, but obviously enjoy other games as well.
Yeah, definitely. And thanks for having me on today.
Anytime, man. All right, bro. We'll talk to you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so that was Michael, and our next caller is... I'm screwing up the whole thing here. All right, our next caller is Virgil. Virgil, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah. Can you hear me? Make sure I'm not loud.
No, you're not too loud. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it really loud earlier, but you are good now.
Alrighty.
So, what keeps you here? I mean, I think I can kind of guess what keeps you around.
Yeah, I'll probably follow Michael's format, which is just introducing how I got into the game and stuff. But
Okay.
I'll tell you, I actually found this ATC title pretty confronting, because when you really ask yourself, it's
yeah, it's kind of scary.
Why
sometimes.
Are you still here? Yeah, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Why are we still
Why
here?
am I?
Makes us suffer like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it was really confronting. But I don't know. You'll have to help me out here too, because I don't have a great take on this episode. But I think
you have a very good reason of why you're still here.
Usually I have notes and all this stuff to bring to these, but yeah, I've been sitting in the lobby this whole time fuck, I don't know. But the
you have an org.
I mean, yeah, that's the obvious answer.
Yeah,
for sure. But I don't think there's a lot past that. And my history with this game, right, is I started backing in 2018 with a best friend of mine. And we we watched the videos, we fell for the marketing. And then
as we all
played
did.
it. And to be fair, we had so much fun in the beginning, and that was it was 3-4, 3-3, and we would just PvP against some other groups, and we had so much fun with that. And I guess I saw an opportunity with, I mean, the problem I had was, and I think this is probably a similar thing to you, is I've been an MMO gamer for ever. So I'm used to the Dungeons and Dragons thing, and I've played all of them, and this was just so unlike that. For one, you don't find sci-fi MMOs anymore.
No,
they don't exist. So there's that, and then also this type of game it was, and also EVE Online was out, but it was just a decade too late to get into that. and that game had like really aged. You know, and I didn't.
I think you hit on
in it
something though.
myself.
Like one of the reasons too why I'm here is like, okay, you get like your first person game experience that are, you know, is the more modern game, right? First person shooters, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you were also, at least from their marketing, I was expecting that MMO vibe, especially early on when there was loading screens, landing at certain landing locations. I was getting more of the privateer vibe, and I didn't know what freelancer was at the time because I kind of got out of gaming for a while. I was playing poker professionally, dealing poker, all those things, and I was in the poker world and not playing as many games when the freelancer was out. But I expected the kind of hardcore MMO aspects in this, and now I'm not so sure that's going to be the case. So that's where I'm like, well, what if that's not going to be there? What's going to keep me here?
Yep. Yeah, and that's what it is for me too, right? And like, what's keeping me from following Star Citizen's definitely like, you know, the people. A lot of my Star Citizen hours really is in Discord, like managing people and the organization. And my time played in the actual client is pretty low. You know, like we log on to play against other groups in PvP when the waves are good to surf, I guess. But you know, day to day, I can't log in. It's
but I also know you spend time not just managing people, but just hanging out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
right?
And like I'm pretty blessed with some of the people I've met on the game. You know, like I'm in a really cool group, and they've got fun personalities, and you know, Star Citizen, for what it's worth, is definitely really good for finding communities and people. You know, So, there's definitely upside to that. But when it comes to the game, like it concerns me that, like, I don't know specifically what I'm waiting for. Like, I don't know what, like Michael was mentioning, like loops and stuff that he was waiting for. But, you know, if I was to guess, like, you know, what would make this game the God game would be, you know, maybe territory control or, you know, stations and sieging player stations and stuff. And I don't even know if that's coming or even if it's possible.
Well,
you know, but
let's dive into that a tiny bit at least. Is as someone who predominantly PvPs, right? There has to be a winner and a loser. Is that fair? What would, I guess you have to find what winning would be to you. Is it just fighting off people or fighting against people? Because then, you know, you're just playing Arena Commander at that point. So
yeah, I think probably on a larger scale, but yeah, it would just be like the larger PvP battles, you know, in the future when the game gets good enough to handle the player counts and stuff. But
there has to be a reason behind those battles, right?
Yeah, exactly, and which is like the core problem with the game, right? It's like you were saying just before, I think you said it before ATC, but it's just like, you know, we don't know what this is all going to be, you know? Like it's well, sorry, I don't want to mention the other MMO, but we don't know what to expect, right? Like we know that there's going to be a flow of ships that keep getting developed, and we know that there's going to be more systems, and we can also assume there's going to be more events, but we don't know anything else besides that. Oh, and we know that there's some like gameplay loops like salvaging and stuff on the horizon.
And we know the quantum system, right? But we don't know how much we play into that system. That's like my biggest concern. But
what's this all going to lead to? Like, what's the bigger picture? You know, like
but I always wonder,
where do all these paths lead to?
Sure, but is that one of the reasons why you still follow? Is it hasn't led me to a path of leaving yet. It still is a path of I'm interested. Right, I'm curious.
I'm in limbo with it. It feels like I wouldn't describe it as curious. I'd feel like it's keeping me in limbo. If anything, I feel like it's creating doubt for me. You know,
I feel that way now, yes. Right now in this moment, I have way more doubt than I've had in a long time.
Yeah, and it's because like I like they're doing the groundwork, right? It's like what they're immediately working on is, you know, systems, really. Like it's like player counts, it's like game mechanics, you know, the big foundations.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I don't know what's past that, like besides this economy, you know. But the reality is, no one does. Like, no one knows what's
anybody
next
who claims
after that.
Two is lying.
Yeah,
any content creator at least.
And the fact they've kept that open ended is pretty concerning. Like, and
but it's
also
we're all
just kind of guessing, but we don't know what's behind those doors. And yeah, and I feel like with these other crowdfunded MMOs that are starting to pop up, you know, from the get-go, they're giving us those answers. And it would be nice if we started to get them, you know, start to tell us, you know, what's the end game going to look like? What is progression going to look like? You know?
Sure.
And
to bring it sort of, like, I don't think we're off topic at all, but to bring it sort of back to the question is, we've talked about this, I think, a couple ATCs ago, is I'm convinced that this is the way it is, and I will continue to speak this narrative because this is what I believe to be the truth, is the idea of we will not know what the game is until we know the limitations of the game's engine. And we will not know the limitation of the game's engine until PES is in, and then you have PES, server meshing, quantum. Once those three things are in, if we don't get that direction, then there won't be something that keeps me following Star Citizen anymore. I'm not sure. That's when it needs to become very clear to me, and has to be made clear to the community what direction the game is going to go in, because at that point you should know the limitations of around the amount of players you're going to have, and around the I guess, you know, server frame rate, what you can get away with, what you can't get away with, and things like that. And I don't expect the floodgates to open and content to just start dropping, but I do expect them to go, okay, this is what we want to do now. Because how can you know what you want to do until you know what the limits are? And I think that's what all those other MMOs that you don't want to mention, which I don't know why. I mean, we were talking about Ashes of Creation earlier. If you guys,
I just didn't want to, like,
I don't care.
Use
I mean,
Ashes on us. Yeah,
it's fine. Ashes and other games. Most game studios have an engine that mostly fits their needs and don't need to be modded insanely like CryEngine had to for Star Citizen or Lumberyard or whatever the hell you want to call it now, and because it's been modified so many times. But that's, I think, the core issue, and that's where I don't have this doom and gloom feeling until they actually do it and put it out there, and then say, all right, this is, you know, if they don't communicate what it is, then I'm going to start getting concerned. But obviously the concerns are how long it's taking to get to that point, right?
Yeah, and I think now we're at that time of Star Citizen where, like, we're actually these technical hurdles that they've been having to get over for the last 10 years is finally, like, within reach.
Yes,
and
it makes it more frustrating.
It's finally time. It definitely is. It's like the closer and more polished these systems work, like the player count goes up, then the issue of, okay, well, you know, where's the content going to be then? You know, like these. They're almost in trouble because the further they develop this, the more need for it to be an actual game becomes almost.
Well, yeah, the more expectations we have, obviously. The expectations are so high for the game, but at some point, the more they keep progressing, the less the pre-alpha excuse exists, right?
Yeah.
The more the live service excuse is more valid for us. And that's kind of what's maybe happening a bit now, is we're like, whoa, you know, this is like, now we have 100 players in a server. Now there's, you know, it's like, okay, well, where's the rest?
Like if I was to ask, like, Chris one question, it would be like, where do you envision us working towards? Like, what are we playing towards? What's a player's goal? Or and I don't know
I would
that.
even simplify it more and be like, what is a PvP centric player's goal, or what is a industry centric player's goal? Because I would hope that there would be multiple goals, but if he says something returns to you like, oh, it's about making your own path, or it's about, and it's like a really open-ended thing, I'd be like, all right, bro, see you later.
Well, like,
where's
how
eBay?
do you
Send him,
succeed?
put my ships.
Like, how do I succeed in the game? And then if the answer is like, oh, you have small ships and you earn bigger ships until you've earned the biggest, and then I just sit there like, well, I could swipe my credit card and then that would be it, and that opens up a whole other can of worms. But I definitely feel like there's just, I just want to see, what are we going to be working towards? Where's the game aspects? Like when, we log into these lobbies and we fly these ships around and we create our own content, or we hop on like the Siege of Orison theme park. But what's that leading to? Like
Exactly.
where's the progression? Where's the end game content? And it does alarm me that they've never brought that up. And the reason I'm bringing this up and we're even talking about it is because I want there to be a good reason that I do keep following Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, the game, it ticks boxes that there's other games can't right now. And as these other games get better and as more games come out, it does become harder to keep following Star Citizen because you don't see as much progression with it. But yeah, it's what keeps me following. It's the people, just to wrap this up. It's the people, it's the organization that I play with, and it's the possibilities of what this could be. And I just wish it was more transparent. And I think I wish we knew more about what we were playing, because we're all kind of just open to it. We're like, oh yeah, we all think it's going to be 100 different things because they've never said what it's really going to be.
Yep, and that's their secret to success at the moment, I would say.
Yeah,
right?
It's like
the game appeals to everybody, but because you make it up in your own head.
I joke about it, but it's like, it's like Chris and CIG are developing the Matrix. It's like one patch that it's like coffee gameplay, coffee vendors and stuff like that. Like it's, I don't know where, like what the finishing line looks like. And it's just strange that that's not in the sales pitch. It's just, this universe. But yeah, I just want to see more of a game, and then I think I could really latch on, and I'd probably even have more patience too. So, but
for sure,
that's my take.
All right,
Alrighty, brother, this was good.
Yeah, therapy session with SaltEMike. All right, bro.
All right,
we'll
I'll
talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so our next caller is Mox, and Mox was very kind to allow Virgil and Michael to go ahead of him because they're Australian and he's not. So thank you, Mox, for that, because it's really late for them. And to be honest, you may be on the west coast of the U.S., are you?
I'm in the South.
Oh, okay. So it's early morning for you then.
Yeah.
All right, good. So it's not too bad then.
That wake me up in the morning. So
nice. So what keeps you here? What drives you to still follow the project?
Oh, it kind of cut out there for a second.
Oh, did I? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. What keeps you here and what keeps you following the project?
So my short answer, I think we all can say that this is kind of hits on a childhood dream that I didn't realize I had still. My dad raised me watching the original Star Wars, and
okay,
it's kind of the base of my inspiration for this game. I've always wanted to, live in a Star Wars type universe and, fly fighter, fighter spaceships and be Han Solo and all that. So I think that's the main thing. But the practical side of that is recently I joined an org that's been pretty cool. They've got a bunch of people in it, enough to do. They do large player battles. They've done, but what's really hit home for me is they have these trainings to learn space combat.
Okay.
So I got me a pair of Logitech $30 sticks from Best Buy.
Bro,
literally the budget bargain. And
this one,
I'm running two right handers.
Can you see it?
Hold on, let me. Yeah.
Is this one? The Logitech 3D
yeah.
Pro. I still think out of any joystick out there, this is the most ergonomical feeling in your hand.
Yeah, except for when it's in your left hand too.
Well, yeah, it's not meant for left-handed, but the
big bulge is like cutting into your palm, but just have to get over it. But yeah, I got two of those, and I got some racing pedals, and I'm really having fun learning how to do that.
Nice.
Except for Arena Commander is like, holy crap! Those dudes have been putting in like 10,000 hours, and it's really hard to practice in there.
Yeah, the last caller was those guys.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
I just get smoked every time, and I just log off feeling depressed.
I get that every time I try to PvP. I get really excited, and then instantly, like, I will never be good enough.
Yeah, that's how I log off every day.
Yep.
I will never be Avenger 1.
Yep. What? Oh, now I remember what I was going to ask you. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. When did you back the game? More recently or quite a while ago?
So I found Star Citizen during COVID.
Okay.
I work in IT, and I was working from home, and just looking for stuff to do during the lockdown. And
Sure.
I've kind of heard about Star Citizen. Then I started paying attention to it during COVID and bought the Avenger Titan starter pack and started getting into it, and had a really good couple of months with it. I played so much, and I found a bug in the mission system that allowed me to grind those ECN alerts, that like chain grind them, and I ended up making enough to buy an Anvil Hawk in game, and that was pretty cool. And I started bounty hunting and EMPing the shit out of people. And actually, my claim to fame is I soloed a Carrack once with my Hawk. Very nice. I kept landing. I literally kept landing on it and EMPing it.
What I'm enjoying about your call, compared to, not to put down the last two callers at all, is the you're enjoying playing the game. And you're enjoying interacting with the game still. What is it about the game that still excites you?
So I'm actually kind of going through like a gray knight phase right at the moment currently. Okay. Where I've lost the burning fiery passion, and a lot of that had to do with the wipe, honestly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so 3.17.1, I ended up somehow befriending multiple whales in game who ended up giving me like over 100 million credits.
Yeah,
and I finally got. Yeah, they had all this exploited money, and ended up helping me buy a bunch of cool ships, and but then I finally grinded up and got an MSR, which is like the door opening simulator. My God. But so anyways, I think the feeling for me of, even if it's 6 months, the grind feels worth it to me. to grind up to a cool ship
Okay.
and fly it. However, the wipe came, and Daddy CIG was very good to me in the stipend. I think I got like 22 million, and I spent it all before they took it away.
Easy. Got him.
Yeah. I knew that wasn't going to last very long, so I spent all of it in the first night. But now I've lost kind of motivation. I've kind of gotten sick of the bugs a little bit. I joined your Discord, and that's been good therapy.
Really?
The general
it gives me
channel.
brain damage.
Well, the therapy is like finding a space that I could vent, and everybody wouldn't be like trying to correct me.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I feel like I'm the one who's trying to correct them now a little bit. I've kind of am like going through this arc where I don't care as much anymore, and I wonder why everybody does still so much. And that's kind of like what the theme of the show is today, is like, why do we still care about this shit? It's been so painful for so long, or it's just hasn't been what you wanted it to be yet for so long. Why do you still care? Why are we still fighting and getting angry about the tiniest little things, you know? And yeah, sometimes I struggle with my own Discord, and like, I swear, just like 2 days ago, I was like, I should just close this thing, because it's becoming like this pit of negativity that it's like, we're seriously complaining about that, guys. Like, come on.
Yeah, I can see that for sure, and I've had to kind of weed some of that out, and I've even corrected some people too. Like, come on, dude, this isn't worth getting mad about.
Yeah,
but it overall, everybody's been super cool. But
you there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can
there
you hear
go.
me?
Yeah, I can. It's like your mic went away for a second.
Oh, my bad. So yeah, I've been kind of going through a miniature fallout with the game, and strictly because I'm just realizing there's not much to do.
You have to make it for yourself at the moment. If you're not making it for yourself, or not joining people that are doing that legwork for you, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to enjoy for, you could enjoy it for a while, but and I think you probably got your Avenger Titan package value out of the game, I would assume by now, right? But
yeah.
Is this your forever play everyday game? Well, it can't be right now. It just can't be. We all want it to be, but it just can't be.
Yeah, that's what I'm realizing, is that I can't live in this universe yet. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people's disappointments come from. And I think the childhood dream thing is very underrated as far as why people are so passionate. And when you stoke somebody's childhood dreams like this, like Chris has with his reality distortion field. I don't know if have you heard that term?
No, describe it to me.
So it was coined by people who worked around Steve Jobs. Okay. And they called it the reality distortion field, and it was this ability that Steve Jobs had to literally, his charisma and belief and vision was so contagious that it would bend reality around him.
Have you ever met him?
I know, but I wish, man.
It's literally true. So that's literally true. I was lucky enough, really lucky, because somebody actually turned down the opportunity to get invited to debut Star Marine. And I went to the LA studio, and we helped test it and build it up to what it was at the debut of that event. And it was long hours of just playing the game, and Chris was behind you, kind of asking you to do certain things, or just overall watching how we played the game and going like, ooh, this is not what I want, and we need to make changes to make it the way I want it. But the thing about him was there was this, it's hard to explain. I wasn't awestruck by Chris. I don't get awestruck by people. I've been, I was huge into poker, and my like the biggest professional poker players I dealt poker to, right? Like those, and then you realize like they're just regular people. There was something about Chris that drew, like I wanted to work hard just because of the what he was putting out there, right? So I think that that's really a real thing. There's something about him. He is a special person for sure. That is, there are just people like that are, I don't want to say like natural born leaders, because I think there's been obvious like leadership issues with Star Citizen and direction and things like that. But charisma is a thing, and Chris definitely has it.
Yeah, and Steve Jobs was famous for that because he would talk about a feature or a product so much that everyone in the room, that was impossible, but everyone in the room would just believe it after talking to him about it.
Yeah.
But here's the part that I think where Chris and Steve Jobs are different. They're obviously very different. Is that Steve Jobs knew what his strengths were and his weaknesses were, and he would hire people to fill his gaps in. So like he didn't try to do things that he was bad at. And I have this feeling that Chris hasn't figured that out yet because of obviously the mismanagement issues. But specifically, he was a cruel taskmaster. And I'm not saying that Chris needs to be that, but Steve Jobs got shit done. He would bend reality, and then he would actually make sure that the reality got bent in the way that he wanted it. And I don't see that happening at CIG. Not that we can see everything.
This is completely off topic. So I'm gonna rein it back in a little bit.
Yep.
But we'll end it. We'll end that part of the conversation here. Is I would imagine in the early days of the iPhone that people were working incredibly long hours, and there was a very much of a crunch or that kind of mentality. CIG doesn't do those things because it's super toxic, and it's like the worst thing in the gaming industry for developers, things like that. And I think that they've kind of got away from that quite a bit. I don't think we're going to have that cruel taskmaster thing because it's not healthy for the employees. And you can put that out there as like a good quality, which is sort of what you're doing, but it's not a good quality for the employees. And I think CIG employees have said that it is a great place to work, but it's also at the detriment of us, right? Because if there's no deadline, then who suffers? We do. The devs don't. Good for them, but we probably
they've got a great time doing that.
Yeah, we don't get what we want as quickly as we would like it. But that is what it is. Well, but let's get back to what keeps you following, and less about Steve Jobs and
yeah. And my original point was that to get back on track,
mm-hmm.
the childhood dream part of this, I think, is so underrated. Because, however, the flip side to that is when you stoke somebody's dream like that and then fail to deliver, which has an asterisk on it because different people have different definitions of delivering.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get childlike behavior or childish behavior when you've disappointed someone like that.
Fair.
On something that they've wanted since they were 8 years old. And so that's kind of where I am. Basically, my own skill journey is the main thing keeping me playing the game.
Getting better at PvP?
Yeah, getting better at flying. And because the bottom line is it's a sandbox that has a bunch of cat turds in it, which is the bugs that you got to watch out and don't step in them.
That is the best reference of Star Citizen. It is not a sandbox, it's a litter box.
It's a litter box that has no toys in it. It has no toys in it except for you can buy a dump truck for $500. And yeah, I think Star Citizen needs, and here's the other my last point, and I promise I'll stop, is that really a lot of my hope for the game exists in my own imagination. I haven't been following the project enough to hear. I haven't heard a lot of the promises from the first days.
Mm.
I've seen people comment about that.
I ignore those at this point because I don't think they're relevant. That was the moment that they'll always go back to these like slides in 2016. And that was the moment that the game shifted from Freelancer Next to whatever it's morphing into today. And that was their ambition that they put out there. The dates and stuff were just idiotic. And I don't know who. I mean, I've said this many times. I was standing next to a developer when those slides went up, and they were like, "What the fuck is that? No way. That's impossible." And it was just like, okay,
Yeah, so I think a lot of my own hope for the game exists in my own head, like what I would want to do in the game, and it's easy to imagine what you could do in the game, but I think that Star Citizen could learn a lot from Ashes of Creation in that the node system, I think, is one of the most brilliant systems that is yet to be seen, but I don't see anything in the game or in the promises of the game that's going to really draw people together in the sandbox, because
take the node system in Ashes, if people don't know, it's like cities or towns can be built up by people participating and doing things in the area. Think New World, but way more complex and better. I look at Tony Z's kind of quantum economy thing as having the same ability to do that. They've talked, so if you haven't been around as long, but they've talked about this for a very long time, where if economies start to fall apart a little bit in certain systems, well, there might be more garbage around the landing zone, there might be graffiti, there might be, you'll see those places kind of start to fall apart, and then maybe other ones will build up. So you can kind of see the possibility of that being similar systems, but it's just a matter of doing it and how we interact with that system. That is what drew me to Star Citizen, actually, Mox, is the fact that there wasn't a player run economy, and that it was this whole NPC thing that we would kind of be a part of in some way, but I didn't really know how. And yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for that to be realized, but sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no. I'm just worried that there's not going to be a built-in system to facilitate politics and drama, because I think that's the true content of Ashes of Creation, is this player-driven stories more than anything. But, competing with the node next to you, you hate the mayor, let's overthrow him. Let's try to get this douchebag out of office. Those kinds of player-driven activities that pull the nodes, literally pull the sandbox together to central points.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that Star Citizen does something like that. Otherwise, I'm worried it's going to feel like a 5 to 9 for me, where I log in and I do my job and my role and I grind to try to get a ship to do a different grind.
Yeah. I just look at it as all of the things that you hope for, I see with the reputation system and the quantum economy thing, that all of it is possible if they want to do it. They just didn't tell us if they do. Right? And that's kind of where I have the issue, is like, all right, cool. You showed us the quantum economy and you showed us that kind of thing. You've showed us reputation and that you can give rewards and maybe lock certain things behind it and so on and so forth. Think, you build reputation with the Ninetales or something. And if many people build it, maybe Grimhex gets better or something. I don't know. And then,
it'd be cool.
Yeah, it just goes from there. But this is obviously a much bigger game. How possible is How are they going to bring us together is the thing that I always concern myself with. And I think it sounds like you're very much concerned about the same things, is that like the node system in Ashes or other games kind of centralize the players and bring them and have them playing in certain places for certain reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other difference in Ashes and Star Citizen is that from day one, like Ashes of Creation had their design. Their design is finished. Like the game design is basically done. And now they're building towards the design versus, I don't know,
Fly
like
by
we
the
don't
seat
have
of your pants design is
like we
try
have
to
no
design
idea.
it doesn't work, design it again. That's where we're at.
And so it's and I'm following both games religiously right now, even though I have never played a big MMO. I've been following both games, like content creation wise, and it's drastically different how clear the Ashes vision is versus Star Citizen. The Star Citizen vision exists mostly in my head versus Steven Sharif freaking just lays it out there. Like, here's how our PvP system's going to work. Here's how the node system's going to work. Here's how everything in the game is going to work, like they have said, and even shown design documents. And so if you were going to try to imagine yourself playing Ashes today, you can pretty much imagine what it's going to be like versus Star Citizen. So I think that's all I've got, man. I've kept you too long.
Yeah, it's all good. I appreciate it, Mox, and thanks for, I'm pretty sure, first-time caller, right?
Yeah, first-time caller.
Awesome.
Just joined the 30K org this morning.
Nice. I'll be looking at those apps after the show.
I think I'm in now, actually. Somebody let me in.
Oh, sweet. It was probably broken. That's our other, he's co-guild master, org master with me. Nice. CEO, we call it.
Yeah, man. Well, I look forward to doing some exploits with you.
All right, bro. We'll talk to you
soon.
All
right. Have a good day, bud.
Thanks, Mox. Be good.
Bye.
Bye. All right, and our next caller is Reezer. So let me just get him all set up and sound checked and everything. Reezer, what's up?
Hello.
Hello. I am just getting your name up there, so one moment. But yeah, Reezer is somebody who I see play the game more than I would say most.
For the time being.
Yeah, for the time being. But then you come in and out, but you still
yes, for sure,
definitely participate. So, and I'm sorry, guys, you probably can't hear him that well, but we'll get him sounding nice here in a moment.
Is it better now? Test 1 2 1 2.
No, it's on my end, Reezer. You're fine.
All right.
I had you a little low. I start you guys low and then bring you up, so you're not too loud. But the current thing is what keeps you following the project. Like, even when you weren't playing it, you were definitely still here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think for different reasons than anybody else that's called so far. So what kept you here? And now that you're playing again, what drives you to play the game currently?
I really like what Virgil and Michael did, where they kind of quickly introduced how they got into the game. So,
sure.
Just a couple sentences with this. So yeah, I pledged for the first time 3.5 years ago in January 2019. But I have been checking in on the game year after year ever since 2014, I think. I remember the first time I properly read up on SE was in high school after I stopped playing WoW, and I wanted to find a new MMO that I could jump into that just recently came out or was in the works. I did not want to get into like an established MMO that has been out for who knows how long. I wanted to be there at the beginning of a new one.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Day one of a
yes,
there's nothing like
important.
day one of an MMO, dude. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I completely agree.
Like, everybody shits on New World, but even like week one of that was just so exhilarating. It was a terrible game, but that was amazing. I will never forget that. That was so fun.
I think that experience, that day one, day two experience in and of itself is worth a release of an MMO and buying it. I don't know. It's something truly unique that I didn't want to miss out on.
Sure.
So in December 2018, I got myself a better PC. Remember that the Star Citizen thing is controversial, but it definitely exists. And I did what I always do when I want to look into how a certain game plays at that specific moment in time. So so I opened my Twitch and went to the Star Citizen directory, where I found the first spot being WTFosaurus. I looked at
Okay.
it. He was a bit toxic too for my liking. I didn't really like his presentation, so I went back to the directory, and me being a toxic content enjoyer, but not too much, just the right. Uh, right under WTFosaurus, occupying the number 2 spot in the directory, there was this person called SaltEMike.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I like it, and I like the branding, and I opened it. You were critical. You were talking about the game, appreciating it, but definitely pointing out the mistake. I liked your unique interaction with chat, where you called them out. You actually consider them real people. So I just stuck around ever since, and that's where it all started, with Star Citizen and with you. So I am an old school MMO enjoyer. I enjoy raids and character progression. If I
Okay.
have to point to those things that I think I just love about video games as a whole, it's about your character progression and like large scale co-op experiences. Um, yeah, so that's the reason kind of why I got into the game. The co potential of multi-crew that was
Mhm.
showcased on streams that I checked out previously, and the progressing your character just like any other MMO. Um,
But you can't
and
really progress your character. So what did you see at that
not
time?
okay, so if you don't play the game and you don't all the unique items, you kind of, I guess, assume that there is like a specific way of achieving them, not just going up
Okay.
to the store and buying like so in a way, I was kind of baited into SC, but
Yeah.
just like everybody else, just because I imagined it to be something that it isn't, and it still hasn't been
Sure.
yet. Yeah, so I bought the game January 2019. I played for a year.
Mhm.
I would say fairly regularly. The
And this
first
was
half of that
the
year,
moment where Reezer would essentially come on my stream and be like, Mike, come fly in my Carrack with me. It was back then,
that's
right?
true. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Exactly.
like you said, you were just looking for those multi-crew moments, and like here I
Absolutely.
have
And
the
still.
ultimate multi-crew ship at the time. Come enjoy it with me.
Yeah, it was always the potential of multi-crew. I don't know. I have this strange interest in multi-crew, in the sense that it's like the ultimate co-op experience. You basically you have your ship that you are progressing. You're progressing your own character, and you are also like being a fundamental part of progressing your teammates' character, right? Like you are playing alone in this interwoven system, unlike anything else. Or that's the idea.
I feel
We
like
are talking about an idea that hasn't been realized yet.
Sure. I feel like the idea around multi-crew ships is just flying them in general is similar to like maybe raid mechanics in other MMOs where everybody has their role and they have to be on point in their roles, whether you're the turret gunner or the engineer or whatever the co-pilot's supposed to do at some point. Everybody would kind of have their role, and if you didn't play your role well, it would affect the team negatively. If you did play it well, it would affect the team positively.
Like
so
you are not playing just alongside each other, just like like running on a map near each other. You are
it's like a sports
you are
team.
actually playing together. Yes. But yeah, so that was the first half of the year, getting to know the basics, just standing in area 18, being excited at like looking at a mega city and how cool it looks. That phase, I found buying the ship components to be like the progression.
Okay.
And I got into that. I had a couple ships. I for the first couple wipes, because it used to wipe every major patch back then, every 3 months. And I enjoyed logging in and buying the ship components again and again, and then buying the best ones. And I kind of found that to be like the core gameplay for me.
Okay.
And then I just kind of just fucked around, here and there.
Yeah.
Then I went to the stream and wanted to play with you. That's
Sure.
pretty much how it went every patch. Second half I got into I got into playing with Cutlet. So that was like my like PvP community side of like experiencing that side of the game.
Sure.
That was like August 2020, and yes, and in August or July 2020, I stopped playing altogether because I feel like I experienced everything and anything multiple times over. The
Yeah.
PvP was like just boring. I never managed to get into it other than like the fun I had with Cutlet, but that was, I think, for like a different reason, because he was trying to do something unique and interesting, not for the PvP itself. But yeah, so I even that the game was not ready, still not ready for those activities. So I felt like I was like beyond washed up and burnt out. So I stopped playing July 2020, not even launching the game a single time for like an entire year. Then in like 2021, checked in once in a while, mostly to see what's new on the PTU for a quick session, sniping some of the influencers around here every once in a while. And then I was like, new feature added. Overall game didn't change at all. It still plays like dog shit. And see you guys on the next PTU. Basically, that was my approach for 2021. To come to the topic, so what keeps me around right now is that 3.17.2 introduced the first gameplay, or like the first gameplay content that I was genuinely excited about.
What's that?
In Siege of Horizon, right?
Okay.
Like it was the first quote unquote raid and dungeon. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, so I don't want to go in too much into detailing how and why I like it. In concept, that's the important part. And when I came back, I realized that the features that kind of were added in these 2 years, when you get hit with them in like all at once, you want to see them and you want to kind of go through all of them. So right now, I really like the Discord community. I am playing with a couple of guys from Discord.
Yep.
Liking and they are also willing to play along, because it's kind of like a role play-ish scenario where I don't play alone. I would never even think about launching the game if I had to sit in like a single player like a single seater ship playing by myself. I don't care. The game is just not even remotely playable to me. If I want to do like a single player session, I would never do that.
Yeah,
I
could
do
do that.
In the universe.
I could do it, and I actually quite enjoy it. But I enjoy it because there's like a chat there too. So I could do it streaming, and then it's like the game's the background. We're just talking with chat and talking about all the things that we hope Star Citizen would be or whatever, right? But if I was just by myself, that's kind of the theme of the podcast is, if you don't have that, well, what keeps you around?
Yeah, like I would imagine myself
showing.
cleaning the dishes, listening to like any kind of YouTube video, then playing Star Citizen,
Yeah.
and doing that like as a background activity. No, thank you. Yeah, so I don't care about that. Right now, we are playing alone, but the reason I am currently playing is because of all these all these features and like special mission variants that were added, like all the bunker variants, like when you have like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, all of these are new to me right now. And then we have people in the Discord willing to play with me who I really enjoy playing with. So just going through those, trying to build a reputation, because I haven't really played since Reputation was introduced. So that's like also something that's new to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I am like, okay, here are these cool guys. Let's get on together. We're gonna play for a couple hours. Go do a bunker mission. Do like a bounty. Go to siege and just build some rep. Check out the characters. Check out like the inventory and all kinds of new items you can collect. So for mostly, I don't know how long this will last. Probably not very long. Just maybe a week more. I feel like I don't have too much in me. I feel like Siege of Horizon in concept is pretty good, but the game is just by no means ready for
Yeah.
an event for that. So yeah, that's every time I tried it, it ended up like absolute like unenjoyable trash, unfortunately, and it's like such a huge shame. But it had that it is just what it is. But yeah, so right now what keeps me here is that I did like a I did what Burke said pretty much. Come back in 2 years, which is what I did. So I just came back. I am still consuming the content that's been added in these 2 years, and I have a good community that likes playing with me, even though it's not the most optimal. And yes, just enjoying my time mostly in like a social aspect
Yeah.
of it.
And I think that's
But-
been a theme of pretty much everybody today is
like, yeah.
they found you particularly found a group in our Discord here,
Yes,
but then
yes.
other people found other orgs or whatever, and they're finding a core group of people that they get on with, and they're just kind of hanging out in the game. Everybody's just chilling out, waiting for the game to happen, but they have good company while they're doing it.
Yes, and like I feel like what I wanted to go through is like the game, even though if I finish a mission in an unoptimal way, but if I do it with these guys, it's still somewhat like I could never imagine what you are doing, like collecting guns. I don't care. I need a goal set by the game, just like finish a bunker mission, right? And
You like
even though I
questing,
do it with,
essentially?
like, yes, questing.
Yeah.
Just something at the end of the activity where the game says, "All right, mission complete. Thank you." And I need that kind of goal set by the game, and I can do it in the most unoptimal way possible with like 5 guys, even though I could solo it, but it's still more fun.
Yeah, like I'm very similar to you in that sense. Is I want the game to tell me what to do more than I want the game to allow me to figure out what I want to do myself. But just personally, what drives me away from the game is, okay, like I'm watching my reputation bar go up, but why am I doing that? And for me, the bunker experiences aren't unique enough and different enough to make me want to do that. And anywhere else in the progression path, aside from the new what are they, the combat assist beacons, I haven't actually progressed enough to see like, okay, are the late game ones like really interesting or whatever. And yeah, so for me personally, it's that's not what drives me, but I can certainly appreciate why it drives you.
But then it's the same thing where with the service beacon missions for you, the same as I am with bunkers. So right now, I haven't played 2 years. It's a little bit new. It's like a modified version. But then it's gonna be the same thing to you. It's like you're gonna play and get to the highest level, and then you realize there is nothing at the end, and then you went through everything. You just kind of tried everything, and and I think that's gonna happen to me, obviously, in like a week.
Yeah.
Or 2 or something like that. That it's gonna be pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
And that's why, like, when you say I don't know how you do what I'm doing, it's pretty simple for me. Is the only thing that keeps me going is player interaction, interacting with other players other than the people that I've been hanging out and interacting with my Discord community, stream community, YouTube community, whatever. Those communities, like these other people, and just talking to random people about random things, is the gun running aspects should make that more just different, just providing a different experience. That's what it's done for me. So yeah, is just going down to bunkers and looting fun? No, right? But
for a week or two.
The player interaction
ultimately,
is what goes.
No. Yeah, I agree. Ultimately, for like years and years that we have right now, no, absolutely not.
But you played most MMOs, right? You played more like old school MMOs, where the actual actions of what you did, were they MMO. Fun? Right? Not really. It was kind of the driving force behind them is what made them
the
fun.
Progression and and everything. Like that's true. Like questing to like level 60, probably it's not the like life-changing experience you are gonna remember at 80 when you remember back of all the fun you had in video games. No, obviously not. It's
Yeah.
gonna be getting that specific item and like reaching like the highest level of progression in a certain like skill tree or something. Yeah, I know. I agree. I think we agree. It's just you have been doing what I have been doing for like
For much longer, yeah.
like tenfold as much. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. Well, all right, Reezer. I guess this was kind of coming to the end, so I appreciate your perspective and glad you're enjoying the game and enjoying it with some people from our community.
Yeah, you have some great guys in here, and it's cool in short bursts, very short bursts, and after a long break.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Mike. Thank you.
No problem, man. Be good.
Take care.
Take care now. All right, and our next caller is. It used to be the amazing Shiro, but now it's just amazing Shiro. What's up?
Hello. How do I sound?
Pretty low. I'll bring you up though. Okay.
Okay.
Let's bring you there. And okay. So, what keeps you sticking around?
I think it's pretty unique for me because I don't really play anywhere near as much as anyone in your community or you do.
Mhm.
I can't even remember the last patch I played the game. It might be like 3.10, 3.11 or something like that.
So when you're sticking around, you're like the title says, you don't have to be playing the game. What keeps you following the game? So what are you following the game with?
So mostly it's through content creators. Mostly I keep up on your stream. I lurk around or the YouTube or the React channel. I watch ISC, not religiously. I'm not there every day, but I'll watch it every week. I've just kind of been keeping up with the content. I guess the reason why I brought up that I don't play so much is I feel like it gives me less attachment to the project.
Sure.
I'm kind of more happy to sit by and not get so angry when each individual drama comes up. Yeah, I guess I backed in 2015. I don't remember where in 2015. I've played World of Warcraft too much in my life. It's a disgusting amount of hours that if I said it out loud would make people think I have problems. And
I wouldn't think that way because I know where it comes from. I love MMOs, man, and it's I'm scared if I end up, if Star Citizen does become the game that I hope it to be, or I end up switching and playing Ashes of Creation a lot, or some other MMO that Riot MMO, whatever, some game actually delivers on the thing that I loved back in the day. Like, I'm legitimate. Like, what's my wife gonna think?
Yeah.
Like, all right, wife, you get 3 hours, and the remaining 21 are for a little bit of sleep and gaming.
Yeah, see, I haven't done that as an adult yet. In a relationship where you're like living with somebody and you've got to deal with all that. So this is gonna be fun this time round, I guess. I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the reason I'm still around is I still believe in CIG as a whole. I have faith in the project and the company.
What keeps you believing in them in a place where so many don't?
I don't know. I guess I can as much as I hate the Squadron 42 stuff and how it's messed around with the MMO, I understand why it's happening. I'm not happy with it. It's taken way too long. It's been, it's been messing with the MMO in a million ways, and we haven't got this, that, and the other because of it. But at the end of the day, I bought a Connie. I was happy to bet that money on these devs and the hopes that they had and the way they spoke and their belief that they could do these things.
Sure.
And that really hasn't changed.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of us, still here. I think most of us, if you had absolutely no faith that this would turn into something, I mean, the only reason that you're here is to
hate
be
watch.
Miserable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think most of us believe that this can turn into something. And I think it goes back to all the other callers of they've done I don't want to say good job because I don't think it's a good thing, but they've done a good job of being very vague. So you have your own idea of what the game may be.
Incredibly vague, yeah.
And it's definitely worked to their benefit as far as funding goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. Even like I'm a big economy nerd. And I think of whatever we would possibly do. Like, I'm just pulling everything out of my butt at this point. But we understand how maybe little bits of the engineering gameplay works. Cool. There might be rare pieces of quantum drives or something that we may be trading around. There may be ways to make money here and there, but generally it's all up in the air. You can look at some really old design documents, but who
Sure.
knows?
Can we dive into that a little bit? If you're an economy
Sure.
nerd, because this is the thing that actually scares me about Star Citizen and doesn't exude a lot of confidence for the game and me more recently, is I played a couple MMOs that they were almost entirely player driven, and I was frustrated with that at times, because if you ended up, your server ended up dying a little bit, then people ended up kind of setting the prices the way they wanted to, and there wasn't really, a market for those
very
prices
fair.
and stuff. Yeah, things didn't get fair. So then at that moment when I was experiencing those things, well, this little game called Star Citizen came around and posted an economy video where they said they would have
Players can't control everything.
where the players can't control everything, and I was drawn to that.
Yeah. Me too.
Now I sit here and go, well, I liked being a major part of the economy, and now I feel like I don't know if I will. So I assume you are excited about diving into what Tony's going to be doing and what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be interacting with it. Is that one of the things that keeps you following Star Citizen? And if it is, what about it?
Oh, I mean, it's really complicated. The idea of like player monopolies versus this AI system where we can't really do that so much.
Sure, we don't have to dive into the nitty gritty, but what I mean, you're here, right? And you said you're an economy nerd, and I imagine there's a reason.
So when I compare it to WoW, WoW economy nerding stuff was mostly you just sit at an auction house. You know the prices of things. Maybe you have some apps. Maybe you got some sheets. And you're sitting there and you're buying things and selling stuff. You're holding them. You're speculating on the price of them in the future when patches come out or things like that.
Sure.
But overall, it was pretty static and relatively boring.
Okay.
CIG kind of came in with this large set of promises and world where it seemed like all of those things would be a little bit more dynamic, I guess, in a way that that players couldn't completely control. There wasn't a
Can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
How would you speculate in? Because I think this is the key to the Star Citizen economy. How would you speculate in the WoW economy?
So it was often with items that would come and go. So basically, there'd be demand at different points in a patch cycle or a week or raiding schedules for certain different objects. And if you could understand those, you could buy and hoard and sell later and kind of move around like a warehouse and make your money there.
Sure.
That still seems relatively possible within CIG's goals. I mean, if prices are changing.
I think it's incredibly possible. And I think one of the things that is kind of cool about it is if you pay close enough attention, at least, obviously this is all in theory, if you pay close enough attention to what is happening in a certain system, and hopefully they give you the tools to do so. If I understand correctly, they have the team that made the star map on the website helping out with Tony Z's economy system. And one of the special things that may be on that page on the website is you can see kind of pirate activity on that webpage. And that's not something that we have in our current star map. And that can be applied to a number of different things, I would imagine. So if you start seeing more pirate activity in a certain system, maybe that means they need more medical supplies, or maybe that means they, and that drives the economy and stuff. So if you're actively paying attention and looking at trends and watching them come and go, that is something that I imagine you could take advantage of in that way. And it's not really a player-driven thing necessarily. It could be. The pirate activity could be a player-run org, or it could be NPCs.
Yeah. I mean, the old Tony Z video, I don't remember which year it was when we first got a good look at Quanta. basically at least gives us the idea that we should be able to have some basic, speculation gameplay in terms of economy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if prices are changing at factories, if the fact that prices can change dynamically means that we can hold and buy and sell and move objects in large scale, which is kind of the fun that I've been playing around with in other games already. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking forward to. I haven't really seen another game allowing me this kind of thing in this kind of quote unquote fidelity.
Sure. The thing that always concerned me about it, though, is the will I be able? Because like in most MMOs, you're the hero, right? And in this game, you're not. You're a citizen, and that's the thing that I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around. Is I never played like the hero role or followed the story as much in MMOs. I just kind of enjoyed playing within a guild or an org or whatever you want, or whatever the game called it, and just being a part of that.
Yeah.
My concern about this one is like, will I be able to do the same things that the NPCs do with, I don't know, our player-owned land, right? Am I going to be able to buy and sell certain things and drive an economy for my group or whatever? You know, am I going to be able to take part in that? And will that play part in that simulation? I always am curious about that. And I'm concerned that we won't be able to. And that's where I might be like, damn, maybe this isn't the game for me. That's one of the moments, that I've spoken about where I'm not sure if Star Citizen will be the game for me. Am I going to be able to do that crafting, similar things that the NPCs do, and drive supply and demand? Not entirely myself, but be a part of it at least.
Sure. Yeah, we'll be able to have an effect on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all. At this point, we're talking imagine again, but
you have to.
The whole. I've been watching this show essentially since it was redacted, and it's always been imagine.
Yeah, it has to
be. Yeah, that seems to be
they leave
the
us no
biggest,
choice.
Part of this game. Yeah. I'm not too sure how much power we'll have or any of these things, just because it's all up to the whim of making it at the time. But I still, as I said, I generally got faith in the project and the people making it. I feel like the amount of money and time I've invested is probably a bit extreme, but I'm happy to sit here and wait.
Sure. Yeah. It sounds like that's where it's going to leave our conversation, Shiro, but is there anything else you wanted to
add? Just don't listen to Data Streamer when he talks about WoW and instancing and phasing and how it has any relevance to Star Citizen.
Okay.
That's all. Have a good day.
Oh, wait, you're the guy who sent me the message about that, right?
Yes.
And sorry for not responding, but it was just like,
okay.
I got hit in the face with it, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on here.
It's a wall of text from a random schizo about, I understand.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're
not a random schizo. Like, obviously, you've been around forever. I know who you are, but I was just like, what is this? What just happened? But yeah.
Yeah, just got a little triggered. It's okay.
You're all good, man. It's still triggered.
I am still triggered about it. I sent him messages.
Okay. All right, Shiro.
Goodbye.
Have a good one, man. Bye-bye. So we are coming up to our final caller here. Our final caller is Raptor. Raptor, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. I'm bringing you up. So what keeps you here in Star Citizen, in the community, playing the game? What's doing it?
I guess I'll give the little background thing that everyone else was going to. So I've been playing Wing Commander basically since it was released. I think it was around 1990. So I was the poor sap who kept upgrading his computer every time the next Wing Commander came out.
You too? Yeah. I started with Wing Commander 2. I didn't play Wing Commander 1 actually until I started streaming. I streamed it. But I started with Wing Commander 2 with a friend, and then it was Wing Commander 3, 4, and sadly 5, because 5 was terrible. But I played all of them, and that's what brought me here as well.
Then it also went into Privateer, which later went into Freelancer. Sadly, I think, what was it? Privateer 2 as well.
I liked Privateer 2.
It felt a bit off to me, I guess, after the first one.
It was different, yeah.
So then I got my golden ticket. I think that was around like 2010 when I heard that there was going to be some sort of comeback. And then somewhere, I think it was around 2012, might have been the live stream.
Yes, it was.
Which is when I ended up backing, because sadly enough, that's when Hurricane Sandy was. And after we got displaced, I found myself with some extra money, which ended up being a Constellation package.
Are you from New Jersey?
Then.
Not to dox you or anything. New York, okay. I'm from New Jersey, so my family got hit with it pretty hard as well.
Oh yeah, so we were displaced for a few months and stealing somebody's Wi-Fi so I could watch the 24-hour live stream, I think it was, that they were doing back then.
Nice.
Joined an org. Later, it fell apart. Followed some of the people there, which has pretty much kept me with the game, basically.
Okay.
They're sort of inactive right now, but then I started following, like, you back when you were Twerk, Saurus, Baron, DJ Knight, all those back then for information with that, and then watching the game progress from the staring at our ships into the hangar module to actually finally being able to fly them, which kind of started to give faith as they kept bringing more stuff online and gave a little bit more to do. Then we created our own content. So we'd be the people that you kept seeing on stream holding down the space station Korea so that people couldn't clear their crime stats back then.
Sure.
After that, what would you call it? Ended up watching some people that were playing GTRP, which then they started playing Star Citizen, and they got I joined their big giant community org. So that playing with them kept me into the game as well. And then, I mean, you had the videos, you had the Citizen Cons. I think it was either last year or the year before that they changed the format, that they didn't start handing out the hype train videos and actually delved into a lot of the back end stuff, which I found a little interesting, where other people, I guess, were a little bit polarized by it because they didn't care so much. They wanted to see what the next
I'm that person. I don't care.
Next shiny thing is.
Yeah.
Which would then keep them backing. So after that, then I found a select group of people, and sure, we do the bunkers and stuff, but then they brought the dynamic events in. So then, I started hooking up with, say, Captain Richard's group, and it made it more fun as opposed to solo gameplay, which
of course
can get boring doing the same thing over and over. So it became about the people that were playing Star Citizen versus what I could do in the game, which admitted it's more now, but still not quite there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if anybody backed the game and this is exactly what they wanted, I would be surprised. Like, everyone's story is going to be like, yeah, the game is really cool, but there's always going to be the but, because we're not there yet, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, because for me, originally, like I said, I was a Wing Commander person. So,
So are you more interested in Squadron, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm more interested in Squadron and what the story is going to bring for that than I was with, say, the PU. But again, Squadron 42 is going to be finite. They might not continue it past the mission pack. They might continue it. The PU will always be there, hopefully always expanding.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I guess, what keeps me back, even though you do have the few steps back that we've taken, like how they were worried about the UEC that they gave out too much of. Meanwhile, you had people that couldn't get into elevators and play the game, but they had the high level meeting about the fake money that we are all farming at this point.
Yeah. It was a bad look, but yeah, I mean, it does sound like, you are another person that is continuing on with the theme of literally everybody here, that it's not the game that keeps us engaged. It's not necessarily their development updates, although for you more than anybody so far. And it's the communities and the friends that they've made is the real thing that's keeping them engaged with the game. And if that wasn't there, I mean, what would you be doing right now? I don't think it would involve Star Citizen, right?
Honestly, while I've been watching your stream on my other screen, I actually have Final Fantasy 14 up on
There
it.
you go.
So
Okay.
I have that. I have a little free company that I play with them, which is kind of the same thing. That's the only thing keeping me, say, in Final Fantasy 14 right now is the people down playing with, or, I have sometimes playing GTA Online, as toxic as that could be at times. But I mean, there's that, or there's there's an entire bunch of stuff you could be doing that if it wasn't for the people, it might not be Star Citizen, and I might just have my package just sitting there till something comes online that says, "Hey, come on back, try me out again."
Yeah, and I think that there's some merit in them taking a little bit of time out from, and I think they have done this more and more recently, is maybe taking time out from developing and pushing the game forward to taking what they have currently and trying to allow the players to enjoy it together as much as possible. And yeah, I think that's been a good thing.
They want the game to expand.
Of course.
We would not still be here if we didn't want the game to expand as well. The downside is that the front-facing thing is when you have the big streamers coming in, sort of almost like repping the game, going, "Hey, I'm playing Star Citizen instead of my normal game today," then you got them, like I said before, they're staring at the elevator, they can't get in, which then, starts putting on a bad face that maybe more people won't come in till they fix it, which would be nice if they fix some of the aspects that keep creeping up, that keep even the, almost want to say, the hardcore players that keep coming to play, that eventually they might leave if they can't just play the game anymore.
Sure. Yeah. It's the big dilemma that they have, the big issues that they have is they're trying to keep the current game interesting that they can't fix without the major tech. I mean, this is what they say. I can only repeat the words they're saying because I don't understand how any of it works. But they're sitting there trying to provide you with a decent enough experience while they make the features that are actually going to fix the problems that they created for themselves.
Server meshing will
it's like
fix
a never-ending
everything.
circle. What's that?
Server meshing will fix everything.
I don't believe that, but I believe that it can no longer be an excuse once it's there. And I can't wait for that moment.
Which may, I hate to say it, the next patch, and I think it's the next patch, or maybe even the patch after that, whatever it's going to be, whether it's 3.19, 4.0, whatever they decide to it, that might be the thing that may make or break it for some of the people that are still around.
I absolutely believe that to be true. It's just, for me, it would be whatever's a little bit after that. What are the steps they take after they have put these features or this tech in and stabilized it a little bit? What do they do after that? That is the make or break for me. Do you start focusing on the players and the game and the driving force behind it, or does it work? Did it not work? Are you going to tout the next carrot on the stick for us to chase? Or are you going to still continue with the, well, it's a sandbox, just figure out your own gameplay kind of thing? That'll be the make or break comment for me.
Yeah, hopefully that it's not after they said server meshing will fix this, then this will fix this, and then all of a sudden, hey guys, we have this next great thing that is going to fix everything. And
quantum server meshing. Yeah.
Yep.
Just might as well call it quantum since everything is called quantum. But yeah, all right, Raptor. I guess this is probably where we call it. But
pretty much.
Yeah, I appreciate your insights and things. And yeah, I mean, it does. Everyone's got their little tweak on it, but it all kind of falls into the same place. Is that Star Citizen community and the people that make it up are pretty cool and pretty fun to hang out with. And that's what's keeping people around.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. All right, bro. We'll talk to you. So that was Answer the Call, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I needed that. I needed a little therapy session. I needed a little what keeps me going here. Because honestly, making content and I do see comments about this. Oh, you're making money from this. I can just go back to work and work more. I kind of like my job now. I don't hate it as much as I used to because of the place that I work and the people that I work with. So money isn't really a driving force behind doing these things for me. And I need a little therapy session trying to figure out what's going to keep me going with the game and what keeps you guys going and need a little inspiration there. And it definitely is the people. And I love hanging out with the people in my org and the people in my community on Discord and stuff. So yeah, that seems to be the driving force, as well as the vagueness of the game is also the driving force behind following the project. Is you're still trying to follow it to see what it becomes as well. So yeah, interesting. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed participating in it. And the people who are watching on Twitch, if you didn't catch the whole thing, it'll be up on YouTube later today. For those of you guys watching on YouTube, stop by Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike. Come by, hang out. Let me know what you think about the game and say hello, as well as leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, as you normally would say on a YouTube video. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week with whatever topic I come up with then, because I'm out. I'm fresh out.